Sorry about that.
Oh, hello. That's okay.
All right, the attendees are just flooding in now.
Okay, perfect.
So sorry for my tardiness. My other session kind of went into a little bit of an overtime. So I am going to hand over the floor to WildPlay. Welcome.
Thank you. Just trying to share our
Oh, hang on.
presentation.
I will give the option to share. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
There, now you can share.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna share the presentation so we can start with that. Awesome. So you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am the guest service supervisor at the Zipline to the Falls and the Whirlpool Adventure Course. This is my third season with the company and have learned a lot and had a lot of fun while working. Frank's going to introduce himself now as well.
So my turn is I'm Frank. I'm the tech member and instructor at the Whirlpool Adventure Course. I've been with the company 4 years now. This will be my fourth year, actually. My first year I started in Maple Ridge, BC. We do have a park over there as well. And then I transitioned here on my second year. I love it here. It's really fun. There's different attractions, different games, bigger too. And then we're gonna start with our presentation. That said, was there something?
Yeah. So I just want to talk about WildPlay. Yeah, we're gonna throw our cameras on. Give us a second here.
Yeah.
This on for you guys. Sorry about that. Here we go. Just gonna talk about WildPlay a bit. So the whole point of WildPlay is we challenge people to push their boundaries through different activities, which is really cool because we have zip lines, we have a high ropes obstacle course, bungee jumps, things like that. Our whole model is fear less, play more, fear less. Sorry about that. So we're all about playing and having fun and being safe while doing it. If you guys do have any questions throughout the process, you guys can just throw it into the chat. We'll try to answer it. However, if anything, we'll answer all those questions in the chat later on. We want to get through our presentation and then we'll do questions and answers at the end.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start with our mission statement for our company. So we start with the circle of safety. The success of our mission is entirely founded on trust. We lead best of breed practices so no one gets hurt, but everyone takes chances. Internally and externally, we champion brave vulnerability and never compromise our integrity. We do what we say we'll do. So what we mean, we make sure our guests are safe throughout their experience. For example, we have harnesses. That's equipment we use at our attractions. So we make sure to inspect them at all times to make sure our guests are safe throughout their experience. The other one is nurture the pride. So the health of our team comes first. We rapidly encourage each other to adventure and constantly improve. Humor is intelligent and underpins our focus on fun. We put first things first, resourcefully driving results and bravely embracing the difficult things. We seek awesomeness. So our company likes to do outside work activities to make our staff more united, more together, right? To bond. So an example is we sometimes go play dodgeball. So it's really fun. Our staff knows more a bit of each other, and we bond throughout the year. The third one will be taste the dirt. So if you don't know Mother Earth, you won't take care of her. So we grow a generation of caretakers by establishing their sense of kinship with natural spaces. We stretch to take care of the environment in realistic and achievable ways. We get dirty. Remember the smells while you make a difference. Nothing is more primal than the elements. So in here, a really good example is we like to take care of nature because a lot of our parks are on the trees. And so we have to take care of nature, right? We have to take care of our trees. We have to take care of everything that's around us. So what we do is we pick up the garbage that our guests leave. We don't want our forests to be all dirty and full of garbage. So we normally tend to take some of our time to pick it up and leave our trees clean. Now, the last point is share the fruit. So the labor of our business must result in an obvious and tangible benefit to the pride and our communities and on and off our dirt. Beyond the social purpose of our mission, we commit to true sleeves rolled up effort to make a difference in our communities. If community is sticky, we love being glued. So examples will be, we like to share the fruit by giving season passes to our people that love to come back into our parks, right? So these people love our parks. They come a lot throughout the seasons, so they buy a season pass. The good thing about a season pass is that they start coming a lot very often, which makes them into time trials. So we give them a time trial to see how fast they can do the course and if they can break those records that they create for themselves. This builds a community. We like to have a good relationship with our guests, especially those returning guests, because they spend a lot of time on the attractions and they come back often, right? So we start remembering their names and some of their history. Okay, we're gonna go next to our brand promise. So we release our original human and change the course of our life through the thrill and challenge of adventure. We deliver awesomeness at every step along journey with us. We will make it easy to take the leap and have fun and unique visit. We just love to have fun. Of course, the job is professional, but we love to do it while having fun and make sure our guests are enjoying their time at our parks, right?
So like Frank was saying before, we have multiple parks across Canada and into the United States, and each of those parks have their own unique activities. On the screen are some of the actual activities at those parks. I'm going to start with the primal swing. So this is kind of like a giant swing, almost like a pendulum. People can go over 100 kilometers an hour on the swing, and you can do it by yourself. You can do it with someone else. A lot of these activities are trying to get our guests out of their comfort zones. So a lot of adults forget how to play and the importance of play. So this is a time where adults, especially and kids, can have that time to just relax and push themselves. Another activity is a bungee jump. I know a lot of people have seen bungee jumping in different parts of the world. Some of our locations also do that. Me and Frank had a conversation before this presentation and said that that's the one thing we probably wouldn't do. There's probably some of you out there be like, yes, I definitely want to do it. Something that I do not want to do. It's definitely very cool. We have a bridge out in BC, so people can jump off the bridge and below them is the actual river. So definitely for those high adventure seekers. Now I'm going to talk about the adventure course. So this is actually an activity in Niagara Falls. We'll go more in specific details when we get to the actual site itself. But it offers zipline ladders, bridges, tunnels, things like this, just so people can actually get their hands on it. They get to physically do everything by themselves, which is amazing. They're challenging themselves. We also have a high-speed zip line that's at a different location, Niagara Falls. So people can actually go up to 70 kilometers an hour down the zip line. And it's pretty cool to see where people, when they first get up there, where they're really nervous, and by the time they get launched, they're screaming and having a great time. We have a lot of kids that are very nervous, and we coach them through the experience. And once they go down, they go, "Can we go again?" So it's definitely a very fun, environment to see people push their boundaries. A really cool activity that we do have is the What's a Fear Jump. So pretty much guests have to climb a ladder onto a 45-foot platform, and then they have to jump off this platform. So we have a pretty cool system that allows our guests to free fall and then catches them at the end and lowers them down slowly. But just imagine being on a 40-foot platform and then being told to jump off of it, right? There's a lot of coaching and a lot of fear behind that, but we want people to push their bounds, right? The whole thing is take the leap. I'm going to talk about the 2 attractions that we have in Niagara Falls specifically. There are 2 different locations, so they're not at the same location, but they are both located in Niagara Falls. We're going to start first with the zip line to the falls. So this is right in the tourist destination. So right at the end of Clifton Hill, across from the American Falls, you can see both set of the American and the Canadian Falls. It's a high-speed zip line, and we have 4 parallel lines. Which is really cool about that is that a family of 4 can get launched all at the same time and enjoy the view and the experience. So pretty much it allows our guests to have that enhanced experience while still being part of seeing the Niagara Falls itself. It's a very fast-paced environment. So we do about 1,000 people a day during our peak season. And if you can imagine, that means we have lots of guests on our deck and at the bottom. And it's a fully guided experience. So our guides are actually hooking them up and taking them off. The guests don't need to brake at all. We have an automatic system for that. So we actually had an individual last year, he was 95 years old. And he came down the zip line and he went down and he had a blast. We also do something really cool that we at Niagara Falls feel like is crucial is we do accessibility launches. So individuals that utilize wheelchairs, we can actually lift them out of their chairs in a specialized harness and actually put them back in their chair at the end. So they actually get to participate on the zip line, and a lot of venture attractions don't provide that experience for guests in wheelchairs. So it's something that we really do appreciate having at our site. In terms of our schedule, so we have created the zip line as a full year attraction. So we actually operate in the winter. This would be our second winter operating. We do full-time hours between May and October, and we drop down to part-time hours from November to April. We do a bonus week for Christmas and New Year's, and also for March break. And because we're outdoors, it's all weather dependent, right? How busy is the falls, things like that come into factors with our season, but we are staying open full year.
Okay.
And we have a little video here for you guys to see and kind of see our attraction and see the equipment. Frank's gonna get it loaded and play it. And then you guys will be able to see what the zip line's all about.
Did it stop? Oh.
So you guys got to see a little bit of the operation at the zip line. So our guests do run, the zip line runs along the side of the gorge. Once they land at the bottom, we drive them back up. So it's definitely a cool experience. If you have any questions about our operation, we'll take those at the end. We're gonna move gears to our Whirlpool Adventure course where Frank's gonna take over.
Awesome. So the Whirlpool Adventure course, it's by Thompson Point. It's a high ropes course. As you can see in the picture, we have a lot of obstacle course in the air. There's bridges, there's tight ropes. There's a lot of things that are really fun to try and accomplish, right? It's self-paced course. So our guests come in and they do it by themselves. We do have guides on the ground coaching and helping out with any advice or tips they have for the guests. But the guests are doing it all by themselves. We also just monitoring, making sure they're fine. If they need help because they're a bit stuck or anything, we just come by and help them out. As I said before, we do have a sense of community. So because the guests spend a couple hours in our course, then we start to like talk to them quite a bit, and then we start to learning their names, their history, especially those are returning guests or season pass holders. How our season works is we're a seasonal activity. We are part-time April to June. Then from June to September, we're full-time, and after September until mid-November, we're part-time. It's all weather dependent. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna watch a little video of the adventure course, so you guys have an idea of what to expect, what it's like over there.
Are you wearing headphones? Because we can't hear the video. We can only see it.
Sorry, what was that?
Are you wearing headphones?
Nope. No, I'm
No?
not. It's not. You cannot hear it.
No, we can see it. Looks fun.
I think it's not picking his microphone's not picking it up because if he raises it, he can't get it.
Yeah, I have my volume maxed. I don't know why it won't pick it up. I don't have any earphones. It's just music really that's back.
Okay.
There's nothing, no speaking.
Okay.
So sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it's not picking up, but you can see it from the video. what is it like. As you can see, we are right beside the river, so we have a really cool view of the whirlpool. I want to talk throughout the video just because there's no sound for you guys. This is all the obstacle courses we have, the equipment we use for our zip lines. It's really fun. Lots of people, it's a challenge for some. Some of them are more adventurous, have more fun than being challenged, but it's still it's like feeling like a little monkey in the sky, right? Just climbing and going throughout the whole course. Awesome. So that's pretty much what the Whirlpool Adventure course is like. High ropes, high in the air, and you can see the gorge, which is a really beautiful sight.
I'm going to talk about some of the positions we have open and available currently for the different parks that in United Falls. The Zipline for Falls is currently hiring for guest service agents, zipline guides, and gear crew. And the Whirlpool is also hiring for guest service agents and adventure course guides. We're going to go into detail about each of these positions. I just want to make sure and tell everyone from the start that the zipline guide and adventure course guide has a minimum age of 16. You have to be 16 years of age and up. And then the other positions do not have a requirement in terms of age. So we're going to start with the guest service agents. So we have this at both park locations. They do the same function. They're the first face of the company. So they really set that tone for the experience. So if we have someone that's sad and has a mopey face on, that guest is just going to pick up on that energy. We need those smiling, engaging people that set that tone that they're going to have fun from the minute they buy their ticket to when they leave. They're also crucial for risk management because they screen our riders. So they pretty much tell the guests if they can or cannot participate. So we don't want little Timmy to go all the way to our launch deck and then he realizes he's actually too young. We have to send him all the way back down. And then now little Timmy is crying because he can't go. So they're critical for our guest experience. They also do bookings and payment. One of our requirements is that guests have to complete waivers, which is a legal document in order to participate. So they help guests with that. And they become that point person for any questions. So guests will come back into the building and be like, hey, do you know where the washrooms are? Do you know where I can get a snack? Things like that. So they are the ones that are really the communicators in making sure that our guests know all the information they need. The next position is zipline guide. Before I move forward, I want to make it clear that the guest service agent is at both locations, so both at Adventure Course and at the zipline. Now the zipline guides, the two critical points for them is that they need to be first aid certified. All our guides are. And the next point is risk management. They are providing a fun environment for our guests, but guests cannot have fun unless they're safe, right? That's our number one concern, is making sure they're safe before they can have fun. They're also responsible for harnessing our guests and actually hooking them up to the zip line and taking them off, which means it's very physically demanding. So you're doing a repetitive motion all day, you're hooking them up, taking them off. You're also outside all the time, so different weather conditions. So it might be sunny one day, might be snowing the next day, you never know. And it's also very fast paced. We do about 1,000 people a day, like I said, so you're seeing a lot of guests. The biggest difference at the zipline is that the guests are usually tourists from all around the world. You probably have maybe 3 minutes with them, and then they're gone forever. So in those 3 minutes, it's crucial that you connect with them. They're not a guest service position, but there's still a guest experience portion with it. The next position I'm going to talk to you about is gear crew. So the gear crew is responsible for inspecting and cleaning our gear. So once a guest goes down the zip line, a harness gets inspected and gets cleaned. Once that's completed, it gets sent right back up to the top. We have it on these heavy carts. You have to push the cart all the way back up to our launch deck, which means it is a very physically demanding job. I think that out of all the jobs, this is the most physically demanding. They also are responsible for harnessing our guests and getting them ready to participate. We have a lot of individuals apply to this position if this is maybe their first time ever applying for a job. This is kind of with that base entry level position for us. We actually have our element supervisor. She started as a gear crew, progressed to a guide, then a guide lead, and then became the element supervisor. So definitely there's growth within the actual company itself. But these guys are crucial to our role because if we don't have our harnesses, we're not operating. We're gonna switch to the adventure course and Frank's gonna take over.
Okay, just the adventure course guide. It's similar to the zipline guide in the sense that we do have a first aid requirement before you start for the first day of work. We also have to deal with risk management because we're inspecting and harnessing our guests with equipment, right? So we have to inspect the harness, we have to put the harness on, and then we have to teach them how to use it just because the guest is gonna be doing everything by themselves on the course. Again, we guides are gonna be on the ground helping them and just making sure they're okay, but the guests are gonna be using the equipment and doing all the games by themselves. That's why it's very important that during the practice for the guests to we decide whether they can go up or not. So we have to be mindful of paying attention how they're doing before they can go up. Okay. We're coaching for the ground set, except for the kids course. Kids course have both a ground guide and aerial guide, just to facilitate the kids course, just because kids need a bit more help, but still they're doing everything by themselves. Now I want to show the harnesses that the guests and some of the guys use. Also in the zip line, we also use this harness for the bottom where the landing area is. I'm going to show first the kids course harness. So it looks like this. It has only one carabiner, and this called a kudu carabiner. Looks like this. So this portion here does not open. It's completely closed, and there is a required key to open it. This opening right here, nothing will go through it. So as soon as you connect to the games, there is no way this will go. You won't be able to take it out. So you're always connected. You're always going through the games without disconnecting until you're back on the ground. Once you're in the ground, then you can take it off, but you cannot take it off beforehand. This is the kids course one. Now I want to show the guide one or the classic one. So the classic one looks very similar. The only difference is that it doesn't only have the kudu carabiner, but it also has this guy right here, which is here you go. This guy right here. So this guy, it's what we use for the zip lines. So it opens, you put it on the zip line, and then it closes, and it cannot open by itself. You have to actually manually pull down, press, and open. It has two little wheels right here where it smoothly goes through the zip line. So it's very simple. We just need to teach them how to use it. It might be weird to look at it the first time not knowing what to do, but once you teach the guests how to use it, it's very straightforward and simple to use. Okay, I'll put this back. And let's continue. Okay, requirements. So we just require that our guides and our staff have a reliable source of transportation to and from the park. Doesn't matter how it is, we don't need to know what it is. Just make sure that you can come to the park and leave the park. The peak seasons in the summer months are busiest months. So the shifts varies normally. So the shift can include morning or evening. So we will require you to be able to be available throughout the day, like whether it's morning or evening. And it's not a Monday to Friday job. It's a whole week job, especially on the weekends, which is our busiest days. So we do require the guides and the staff to be available for some weekends, if not most. But it's a really fun experience, so nothing to lose there. Guides, this is especially for guides. The guides are required not to be afraid of heights because we're gonna be on the course, inspecting the course in the mornings before we open, helping guests if they need us to help. So we will go up the ladder to help them whatever they need and then come down. So if you're scared of heights, it's gonna be really hard to do it, but that's why we require them not to be. And first aid training, as we said before, the first aid training has to be before the first day of actual shift. You don't have to have a first aid for applying, just to work. Okay, awesome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With regards to not being afraid of heights. Would it be beneficial for them to get like a working at heights certification, or does it matter?
So part of their training for the zip line and at the adventure courses, they get that training. So we provide them that kind of training. It's more so if they are afraid of heights, maybe we'll give them a different position like gear crew, because they're not directly right on the edge, or a guest service position where they're not actually physically on the course. The only thing is with the guide positions, they're right on the edge of the top of the deck, and then at the adventure course, they might have to go up to help a guest. So if they're afraid of heights and they go up,
Yeah.
and then we're rescuing 2 people instead of 1.
Okay, thank you.
No
No
problem.
problem. In terms of if you're interested in applying, we have all those positions opened on our website right now. And maybe Deborah, you can answer this question for me. If I pop our link in the chat, would that give them access to click the link?
Yes, it will.
Perfect. I'm gonna pop our career page into the chat itself. So if you want to take that down or copy it and get to that link, just a couple of things. When you do go to our page, like I said before, we have parks all across Canada into the States. So just make sure if you're clicking the position, you're looking at the location itself. And then a great thing that we're gonna do is anyone that's in this session, when you're filling out the application, if you put referred by Opportunity Knox, we're gonna guarantee you an interview. So you're automatically gonna get an interview to get into the actual sessions. Currently, we're only doing virtual interviews. We only do group interviews as well. So it's pretty cool just to actually work in an environment where it's fun. We're definitely looking to hire a lot more people. But this is kind of where we're going to open the floor to any questions. And I'd love if they were able to actually say it, just so it makes it easier for us to hear it, if that's a possibility.
Okay, I will turn on all their mics.
Awesome. Perfect. And if anyone has any questions, we would love to answer any of the questions you have right now.
If not, they can probably write in the chat and we can
Yeah.
answer from the chat as well.
My saying is always, if you have a question, the person next to you has the same one. So if at least one person asks it, then everyone can get that information.
So is WildPlay accessible by bus?
Both locations are accessible by bus. I would say that the zip line is a little bit more accessible because
Okay.
it's more frequent in the tourist area. I think
Okay.
the Whirlpool Adventure Course is a little bit, it has buses run, but not as frequently.
Okay, and what are the shifts? What would the hours be?
So usually our shifts are only 8 hours, or we do half shifts, so about 5 hours. We start as early as 6:30 during peak season, and we can end as late as midnight. And then the adventure course hours are a little bit shorter, but we're actually trying to introduce a new element this year, or we're going to try to introduce night climb, so guests can actually climb during the night. So that might extend their hours as well. The Whirlpool Adventure Course does have a shorter amount of hours.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so night climbs does sound like a fun activity.
Yeah.
We are trying to work out all the kinks right now to actually get it ready for this year. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. I think it'd be cool to be able to have a headlamp and have to do all those activities when it's pitch black outside. So definitely a cool activity that we're working on. If you have any other questions, you can throw it into the chat as well.
So for your summer hiring, when does that start? Like, when would the individual start? Does it depend if they're in post-secondary or secondary?
It's really dependent on them. So we are starting to hire right now, and we have set up 3 different training sessions, and they kind of line up for when post-secondary ends and when high school ends, so that they're able to start kind of on their own timeline. But we're starting to hire right now. We have training starting in end of March, going into May, and then we also have training in June. So it kind of fits everyone's kind of timeline, and based on when they'd like to start, it kind of helps us, and we'll put them into that training group from now.
Okay, great, thank you.
No problem.
I was gonna ask, has anyone else ever participated on any of our activities, or would they do any of our activities? Because I definitely know it's a fun job, but fun activity to actually participate in.
I think the only fun activity I've participated in there at Niagara Falls is is it the boat that goes near the
Oh,
falls?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Horn
fine.
blower.
Yeah.
And I've stood in line next to the zip line to get onto the boat, and I'm just like, wow, they're brave. They're brave.
It's funny, but a lot of our guests that are scared of the zip line and do it, they start enjoying it more than the ones that are not scared of it.
Yeah, the leap, yeah, the what's the pier jump is really cool. I think
Awesome.
that really challenges a lot of people, because some of our exits on the adventure course too, you actually have to jump off a platform. So it kind of pushes your limits, because that's not something you do every day, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and definitely, yes, you can plan something in the warm weather, but come in the winter to the zip line. Being able to zip line with all that snow in the background is really cool, and something that people don't want to try. Maybe wear some goggles or something. Your face might get cold for about a minute, but it's definitely worth the zip line down.
So do you have that option? You know how like when you get on a ride at Canada's Wonderland, it snaps pictures of you.
Yeah.
Does your zip line do that where it snaps pictures at a certain point while you're going down?
Yes, that's a great question. So we have we do action shots before you launch and when you launch, so you get that reaction when you're getting out of the gates. We take a video all the way on the way down, and then at the bottom, we're about 1,500 feet away from the actual Canadian Falls. So we take a nice scenic photo with the falls in the background, which is great because the only place to get closer to the falls is definitely on the actual Hornblower, the boat ride. So I think we're the second closest.
Oh, fantastic. Very
Yeah.
cool. Don't be shy. If you have any questions, definitely ask. This is the time.
Yeah, we'll answer all we can.
Yeah, I think that's great. So they would just apply online then. They would just click on that link, put that they were referred by Opportunity Knocks and go from there.
Exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah, so if you guys don't have any questions, that's okay. We appreciate being able to come and present today. We hope to see some of you guys apply. We really feel like it's a fun environment, especially when you're still learning and getting job opportunities. But definitely apply if you're interested.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so thank you for your presentation. We do have a few minutes for ending our day off. So if you want to jump off, take a quick break before coming back on for the final part of the Opportunity Knocks. We are in the home stretch, and thanks for hanging out with us this whole time. Thank you. And thank you to WildPlay for your presentation. It was fantastic.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming. No problem.
Have a great day, guys.